everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we are planning the month of September 2021. I cannot believe that it is September already. My mind is blown. I wanted to do this one a little bit differently. Me sitting on the couch, talking to you, kind of walking through this. We're gonna do a little bit of like B-roll of me drawing on my bullet journal. For this month, I did only bullet journal spreads. I did a monthly reflection, weekly reflection, and a daily reflection. And I'll break down everything that I do so that if you're interested, you can kind of explore this as well. Right now in my life, I'm like very much reconnecting to myself. I need a little bit of a break from like constantly reflecting, and so I kind of been keeping it very light, but I'm just ready to feel more connected to like goals and future and vision, and that's what we're doing here. I have my computer. I'm gonna like read out what we're doing here as we go along, but I hope you enjoy. So the first thing that I did, this is a new bullet journal for me. I got this one off of Amazon. I think it was like maybe $15. I had been using the ones from Archer and Olive, but honestly, like they're very expensive and there's not a ton of pages. I just feel like maybe they're not the best deal. They're very beautiful and I like that, but I wanted to switch it up. So I got this one off of Amazon and I really like it. And it came with these stencils that I'm gonna use as well. I'm also using the Zebra Midliner highlighters to add color to it as well. So the first thing that I'm doing is drawing out a book log. This is where I write down every single book that I read this year. I really just write the title down. I don't really write the author down just for space sake. And then I like to write down what month I read it in because I like to get a sense of like which months I read more, which months I read less. And then I give it a rating. I give it like a 1 to 5 stars. For the sake of the video, I'm not writing in my ratings and I'm not writing in like every single detail here, but I did want to put in all the titles because I needed to know how many pages I needed for the book log for this journal. I didn't know if I would be able to fit it on just 2, and it turns out I wouldn't, so I would need a 3rd page. So this gave me the opportunity to allow for that. The next thing that I'm doing is just doing the title page for September. I decided to do kind of like a little coffee theme with some leaves kind of growing out of it, something really simple. And then last month I started doing this where I did a sentence a day, and then I'm using it as my mood tracker. So I just put in whatever color it is that I'm feeling, like green is stressed, pink is content, yellow is happy, blue is sad, that kind of thing. And then I really liked this method of a mood tracker from last month because I was able to see not only how I felt, but kind of what contributed to that feeling, like why I was feeling that way, and like what area of my life was making this kind of making me more joyful or making me stressed, and I could see some patterns. So definitely doing that again. And then the next spread is my monthly bucket list, and I do this in Brave Collective. I give every Brave Collective member a bucket list every single month, and so this is just our bucket list for September. It has things like go on a hike, go on a trail walk, drink apple cider, that sort of thing. Get a new book, get a new blanket. The next spread that we have is the Level 10 Life spread. This is something that I learned from a coaching client of mine, actually, Shannon Schottler. Hi, Shannon. She talks about Level 10 Life. This isn't necessarily what she does. She has like her own version of this you should go check out. Just kind of took the concept of Level 10 Life and then applied it to the 7 principles of wellness. So the 7 principles of wellness are emotional, environmental, financial, social, intellectual, physical, and intellectual. And I kind of use this like bar graph and mark off, okay, where am I at emotionally from 1 to 10? Where am I at socially from 1 to 10? And then you can kind of get a visual guide as to where you need to kind of put some attention, where you're doing the best, kind of where you need some support. And then down below that, I just write notes beside each one. What's going well, what's not going well, what would I like to do to improve it? The next spread we have is just, we're going into like full-on journaling prompts here. Normally, I wouldn't write these out ahead of time so that I could kind of just see how much space we had available for them. But I wanted to give you full details for like what I'm actually doing in this video so that you could really get into it with me if you wanted to journal along. So here is what I'm reflecting on in August, September transition. What are my wins from August? What wins do I want in September? What worked? What didn't work? What are some changes to make? So based off of the information around what worked and what didn't, what are some changes I would like to make? What decisions need to be made? I like that question, what decisions need to be made, because it taps into a part of my brain where I'm able to just think of like all of the things that I am storing up here that don't have a home, and I can just put them all down on paper so that I can kind of allocate tasks to them. Here's my next favorite question. What goals no longer feel right? That is a question I do not think we ask ourselves enough. What goals no longer feel right? This is an opportunity for us to really sit down and be like, what am I trying to hold on to, trying to remain consistent with, that just like isn't for me anymore, isn't serving me, isn't mine? This is a very eye-opening question for me every single time I ask it. So that is very important. Every month I try to ask this, every quarter if I can as well. But just, what do I think I want to be doing, but I actually isn't right for me? And fun fact, I went back and looked at August when I was like prepping for August, and I asked myself that question, and it was the program that I was in didn't feel right for me anymore, the coaching program. And I was offered kind of a chance to re-up, and I was like, actually, that doesn't feel right for me. But I had forgot that I had written that down, that this is a goal that didn't feel good to me anymore. So reflecting on it now, I was like, oh, I had already kind of indicated that to myself. So when the time came for me to make the decision, it was easy because I had already kind of knew. What are some happy memories from August? Where am I now? And I like to do this like, what's my life like right now on a logistic level? Like, my kids in school full time. I am primarily running the Brave Collective, podcasting. I have an Instagram account that I run. And then like my relationship is here. You know, this is how I'm feeling this way. What's it look like right now? And then the next question is, where would I like to be in 3 years? So what's my vision for 3 years from now? And that's a great way to see what you can start to improve on, right? If you think, here I am, here's where I want to be, what are the discrepancies? And are there things that I can just be giving myself right now? Next question I ask myself is, if money didn't matter, what would I do? For me, this question gets me right to the heart of what I enjoy doing and the truth of what I like to be doing versus what I'm doing for money. Not that I think it's wrong to do things for money. I think sometimes you work to get paid because that's what jobs are. So I don't have a problem with that, but I also want to be aware of what's feeding me here, not just like actually literally feeding me. The next question is, what are my core desired feelings? So if you're familiar with the work of Danielle Laporte, or if you and I have hung out at all, I've probably talked to you about core desired feelings, but it's essentially, what are the 3 ways I want to feel this month? This month I picked joyful, brave, and driven. Joyful, brave, and driven. And that just kind of guides the decisions that we make for ourselves. What's going to make me feel joyful this month? What's going to make me feel brave? What would a brave action be? What would make me feel driven? And then I leave space for me to write a vision for the coming month. So this is just me writing out what's a perfect day in my life if everything went right and I could have like realistic but optimistic version of my day. What would that look like for the coming month? This was another one that I revisited from August, and I mostly lived out my vision for the month, and it wasn't conscious, but it was cool to reflect and be like, oh yeah, that lined up. It's pretty nice. So once we're done with that, that's kind of my monthly check-in, kind of resetting. And then every week this month, I'm asking myself the following questions. What worked this week? What didn't work this week? What are some things I should be saying no to? 10 good things. I have a video all about 10 good things that we'll try and put up here, but it's just a gratitude list essentially. Core desired feelings. Here's something I'm trying this month that's new for me, and that's just staying in touch with my core desired feelings. I don't know if I could tell you what my core desired feelings were for August. I don't remember. So I want to keep in touch with them. So every week I'm kind of touching base so that they are actively informing my decisions. The next question is, this week I will shift, like what kind of habit or mentality do I want to shift in myself? 3 traits that future me will have. The person I am becoming blank. So I like to do like 3 things. Like the person I'm becoming has a retirement account. The person I'm becoming owns a home. The person I'm becoming advocates for herself, that kind of thing. And for me, these are kind of manifestation, I guess, but it's really just an opportunity to touch in with like, who do I think I'm becoming and how am I becoming her? The next question is, I have the chance to be my future self this week when blank. So if future me is brave, joyful, and driven, I have the opportunity to be that version of myself when I advocate for my book advance, when I ask for what I need from my partner, when I set a boundary that is necessary. And then I do what I call, well, I didn't make this up, it's called a rolling weekly. I don't know who made this up, but it's a rolling weekly. And I just put down the days of the week, and then I put the dates. And then next to that, I put the tasks that are on my mind. So when I sit down to do this, I'll just brain dump every task that I have to do this week that's in my head. As you may know, I plan out my month well in advance. I plan out my quarter in advance. So all of my tasks that I've already thought of, those are put places. These are just the ones that are taking up precious brain space from me because I'm trying to remember them. I'm putting them on my rolling weekly, and then I'm assigning them to days. So, okay, I have all of these tasks. I'm gonna put that on Monday, put that on Tuesday, put that on Wednesday. And so then when I sit down with my actual planner, I can pull those from my journal. This is just a little spot for me to brain dump. I like the format. I don't mind doing things twice. This is essentially doing something twice because I'm gonna write these out in my planner anyway. I don't mind doing that because this is fun for me. So consolidate if you need to. So that's the end of my weekly check-in. And then we get into what I want to do every day. So here's the thing. In the past, I have been an avid journaler. I love to journal. Typically, I do 3 pages of free writing every single day, but I do a ton of writing for work. So I'm writing 5 podcasts a week. I'm writing Instagram posts. I'm writing, we're starting a newsletter, secret. I'm working on another book. I'm doing all of this writing right now. So like in some ways, in some seasons, that's when I need to journal the most, right? Because it gets my creative energy flowing. But sometimes, and I found myself lately, like, I don't have anything to say. When I sit down to journal, I don't have anything to say. And there's 2 ways in which I would likely kind of fix this for myself. One of those is start to journal in the afternoons, because right now, if the morning's not working for me, it's not working for me. So let's try a different time of day. But what I've been doing, and I'm really loving right now, is just lists, writing lists. And that has felt like I'm able to tap into the part of myself that I need to tap into through my journaling, but I'm not putting the pressure on myself to form coherent sentences and to make full thoughts and to really go super duper deep every single day. Just not putting the pressure on it like that. So here is what my daily practice is looking like right now. So I have 1 sheet of free write. So first thing, everything that's on my mind. And then we get into the prompts. So the prompts for the day, what am I feeling? If you are like me, you struggle with your emotions and you struggle to feel your feelings, and maybe you don't even know what you're feeling most of the time, this is a really helpful question. It's helpful for me to really sit down and be like, what am I feeling? What are my emotions right now? Because I can ignore them pretty easily. So what am I feeling? Journaling on that. Ideas to brighten my day. So like, what would make today better? Not just like ambitious. We're not talking like, oh, it would brighten my day if like my husband would take me to Paris, or it would brighten my day if I had $1 million in the bank. That's a way that we dismiss things that can actually support us. So don't do that. Instead, really think about what could make today 10% better. My kiddo the other day went to school and he had to eat lunch outside now. That's his nightmare. So we talked about like, okay, that's a situation that's gonna suck. This is gonna be a bad thing. You're gonna not like this. Maybe that'll change sometime, but like right now, you don't like it. What will make this 10% better? Do we pack a towel? Do you have a towel to sit on at lunch? Do you sit at the picnic table? Do I pack you foods that make you feel less grossed out? by eating outside? Like, are there certain foods that would be easier to eat outside? How can we make this just 10% better? So what can brighten my day? Intentions for today. So like, what needs to be done? What are my priorities? How can I show love to others? And how can I show love to myself? And then finally, I release. So I love this question, I release. I pretty much always release like control, predicting the future, demanding that like I'm happy, you know, just like pretty consistent things that I release control of, but just reminding myself every morning, I release the need to be prepared for the worst. I release the need to be aware of everything that's going on. I release the need to be perfect. Whatever it is that you need to release, kind of touching back into that and reminding yourself like, whoa, this isn't mine. I don't have to hold so tightly to this. I can let go. And then my favorite of the daily is I've started doing kind of like this daily log at night. I took a break from doing that for a couple of months, but I'm getting back into it because I love it. I did it in June, I took July and August off, but I like being able to look back and be like, this is what happened that day. And that paired with my mood tracker, with my like daily sentence, I can really get a sense of, oh, this day I was stressed. And then I go read the daily log and it's like, my car broke down. I had like, you know, I did 17 different workshops or, you know, whatever kind of thing I can get myself into. And it really just kind of helps you to pair patterns together, but also just like, these are your memories. And I think it's just really fun to be able to say, on this day at this time I did these things. I like that, but I don't want that to be my journaling practice. Like, I don't journal to document my life, but I want a document of my life, especially because I'm posting significantly less on social media. Social media has changed so much that we're not just like taking photos of our food and our day and then sharing them as often. It's more so like, here's what I have to contribute, here's what I'm sharing for you, here's educational content, and I want my memories somewhere. You know, Time Hop on Facebook is like my favorite thing, but it's gonna be irrelevant soon because I don't post on Facebook anymore. So all of that to say, it's a place for me to just kind of look back and remember my life. So that is essentially my plan for September. This is how I chose to do it. Let me know if you end up doing it. Share your spreads with me. Tag me on Instagram if you want to at Sarah Jane Case. And I would love to see your bullet journals too. And y'all, by the time I see you, I feel like it's gonna be October when I see you next, because time is just flying by. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button so it's not October by the time we see each other again, and you can get 2 videos from me every single week. See you in the next one. Bye.